decade do you actually belong in? This is yet another BuzzFeed quiz. Boy, they saw the success of the other quizzes and they're just running with it. But we love a good quiz. What is this? What was that?
I don't know.
Can you do it again? So basically this quiz is just like all the other ones where it gives you a series of questions, you answer them, and then depending on what your answers are, it determines which decade you're in. We all took the quiz. Hopefully you guys do too. Let's break it down. Thoughts, 5 words or less.
Wanted, Boogie Nights decade. Nope.
Future Love and Sex Sounds.
Muck Snipe. 80s.
Beam me up, Scotty. I got the future. Yeah, I did, and I like that.
That was an option?
I got the future, and I'm glad I got the future. And I'll start with saying the decade I wanted was the present or the future because I like forward thinking, and I don't want to live in a time, whether it was a decade ago or 2 decades ago, where we didn't have equal rights. And it's not to say that we all have equal rights now, but we're a lot better now than what we were before.
I wanted the 70s. What I got was the 50s.
Aww.
Poodle
really?
skirt.
Yeah.
Poodle
which
skirt.
I actually love the 50s and 60s, and well, I love every
Why
decade.
do you think you got the 50s? What about your answers?
I selected everything that probably would have landed me in the 80s, but somehow I got the 50s.
See, that's
strange.
interesting because
And then I took it again.
What movie did you choose?
I forgot.
It was
'cause
Mean Girls, it was Heathers, which...
No, this
I
is a
picked
different question. I
Grease.
picked Pulp Fiction.
Oh, no.
I picked
In
the one
that
to the
one.
left
Oh,
of it.
Back to the Future.
Oh, Back
so
to the
I got
Future.
in the future.
I picked
so
her.
Back
You
to
picked
the
her,
Future.
which is the
I picked
future,
her.
really.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
And then the second time, see, I took it again, then I got the 60s right after that.
You're
I
right.
was trying to manipulate it to the
Here's
70s.
what's great. I imagine the person who did this just doesn't know how to do the whole algorithm.
But knows
But
the
they know how
person.
to assign random.
Yes.
Like random is very easy from a programmer's perspective, as is like click it and stick it, you know? I took the same quiz
What were your
twice,
outcomes?
and I did the similar thing that I did with the other quiz, which was in the last question, I just clicked the first thing that resonated without reading them all. But then afterwards, I read them all, and something was more appropriate. So I did all the same answers till the last one, which was pick a vice, and I did alcohol. And that gave me the 80s.
Interesting.
And then I did the whole thing.
It's only the last question that determines your outcome.
Yeah, all the way through, and I picked another vice, internet porn, and it gave me the future. So the only difference between the 80s and the future is internet porn.
Wait, I picked for my vice.
No, I picked alcohol.
I picked
and
shopping.
I
How is
Yeah,
and I had the
shopping.
future too.
Well, maybe they
So
made.
you had the future. What
Yeah.
did you hope to have?
I hoped it was going to be 50s because I grew up loving Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, like that era. So I wish that I was the 50s, but no, I like being in the future too.
In the 50s, would you have been more so Danny Zuko? Or would you have been more...
The Beeve. Zuko or the Beeve?
Or would you-
the
or-
Richie Cunningham.
Yes. Yes.
I think he's a
Or
Cunningham. You're
Richie
not-
Cunningham.
I have no idea who either of those people
Richie
are.
Cunningham
Fonz?
from Happy Days.
The Fonz.
Oh, okay.
The Fonz.
The
or-
Fonz isn't Richie Cunningham. Richie Cunningham.
I was
I
just-
want to be
was
Frank Sinatra.
taking
like that was
Zuko.
it. Like I just want to
Oh.
go up and like perform all day.
Okay.
And be in movies and then sing on stage.
You were like the first hipster.
Yeah. You're telling me that
round
Frank
of
Sinatra
hipsters.
was the first hipster?
Kind
That
of.
was a crooner. He's a crooner.
Yeah, that's true. So what did you hope for though, Brett?
For me,
Yeah.
as soon as I saw pick an insult, muck snipe,
Oh.
I was like, I want whatever that is.
Yeah.
I want to go to a place where I just call people you muck snipe.
Right.
And then I tried to game it toward the 20s, but then I was like, screw it. There's no.
Can I hear your 20s voice? 'Cause I feel like-
Here, Governor. What do you? Governor. That's not it. Hey, what do you say? Muck snipe. How do you feel?
Do you know any of the lines from Breakfast at Tiffany's?
I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film.
You mean that?
Oh, that's a song.
And is that all?
Smart.
I meant the
Smart.
Oh.
Okay, so is there a decade that you guys think is totally underrated or overrated?
The 70s was underrated.
70s, I hate the idea of the 70s.
Why?
Just because everyone looked so gross.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, this party's never stopping, man. Also, huge collars.
And then it ran right, full-blown raging into the 80s.
Oh, so gross. Have you ever walked into a place that just reeks of the 70s and you're like, this is busy? It just looks, all the
I
walls
love
look
it.
busy.
So
so
kitschy.
tacky,
about the
kitschy,
The
70s so
music.
much?
The music
What?
of the 70s.
Like the Bee
So
Gees.
you
Bee
like the Grammys
Gees.
with
It was okay.
Chicago?
Oh, Chicago's great.
great.
I just hate the idea of the busy patterns and the huge collars and the.
Not doing enough drugs to appreciate it. That's
I guess
why.
that's
Exactly,
it.
thank
The
you.
hair.
Hates the 70s.
I did.
What
Clearly.
did the 70s do to you other than produce
I just
you?
remember. I remember it would be like, no, I'm the aim of
I'm
the
just
80s,
kidding.
but
That's amazing.
But the 80s were better. The 80s were ridiculous in a way that was.
I'm
at
proud to
least
be an
looked
80s
okay.
baby.
The 70s and the 90s have a lot in common, where there was not like anything that really identified it, other than like some weird fashion trends that
Music.
intentionally were.
Like hammer pants in the 90s.
Good music in the 90s.
Good music in the 90s.
Like alternative music.
Alternative
That was
music
like what?
sucks.
And because I remember when
Sorry,
Third Eye
Tom.
Blind came out in the 90s.
I'm not a big alternative music fan.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love to sing it, but I know it's not good. And what I liked about the 90s is it was like it was a turning point. But I just remember driving around in the 90s and listening to the music on the radio that was Smash Mouth and Fastball and Hootie and the Blowfish, and trying to identify what it was about it. And then switching over to the classic rock stations from the 60s that were playing like good music.
Yes. Good
And the
music.
songs had parts.
Right.
Watching the Grammys and listening to Chicago, I was like, wow, people
When they
thought
did the
so
word
much
lines?
about what this song was going to sound like, as opposed to dugga 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 dugga
I
dugga
agree.
dugga. I only want to be with you.
I agree tenfold with you. That's why I would listen to non-radio songs in the 90s. That's why I was really into old school punk rock and classic rock, because I didn't feel like that we had a really cool defining musical genre. What did you guys think about this quiz? Did you guys take this quiz? What decade did you guys get? What decade did you hope to get? And which decade is the most underrated and overrated? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you all next time on Pop Trigger.